are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next, the June 15th meeting of the LaPorte County Commissioners. More information for this meeting can be found at www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good evening. Welcome, LaPorte County Commissioner meeting for Wednesday, June 15th. If you'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to our country. Jeremy, would you lead us off, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Haney.
Present.
Commissioner Matias. Commissioner Brzezinski.
Present.
You have a quorum, 2 of 3.
Thank you. Consider the agenda. I understand we have a couple items to add.
Yes, I would move that we add 2 items under new business 11D and 11E respectively. The first, consider a resolution recognizing the significance of Juneteenth Independence Day, and next, consider recommendation of the Plan Commission for the proposed PUD in regards to the petition of Love's Travel Stop and Country Stores.
Then motion to approve that as amended.
So moved.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Consider approval of the June 1st, 2022 minutes.
I'd move to approve the June 1st, 2022 minutes.
Second that motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Consideration of claims.
Commissioners, we have payroll for the period ending June 3rd, 2022 in the amount of $1,297,754.78. The original amount listed on your agenda for operating expense claims is $10,841,107.44. We are appending that number, and we are adding $14,452. Sorry, we're adding $12,922.50 for the April litigation billings from Friedman Associates, and we're also adding the May litigation billings in the amount of $14,452.50 for a total operating expense claims of $10,868,482.44.
Thank you. Entertain a motion to accept those.
Mr. Alder, just a quick point of clarification. Those additions are uncontested?
They were approved by me, that's correct.
All right, very good. I would move to approve the appended claims.
I'll second the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much.
And also for clarity, the payroll as well. Sorry, I forgot to include that at the beginning.
Yeah. Oh, okay, thank you.
Sure.
Before we move on to public comment, I wanted to read this resolution, which I asked our attorney this afternoon to compose. Resolution number, we haven't assigned a number yet, to the Board of Commissioners for LaPorte County, Indiana, recognizing the significance of Juneteenth Independence Day. Whereas news of the end of slavery did not reach the frontier areas of the United States, in particular southwestern states, until months after the conclusion of the Civil War, more than 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, and whereas on June 19th, 1865, Union soldiers led by Major General Gordon Granger arrived at Galveston, Texas with news that the Civil War had ended and the enslaved were free. And whereas African Americans who have been slaves in the Southwest celebrated June 19th, commonly known as Juneteenth Independence Day, as inspiration and encouragement for future generations, and this has been a tradition in the Southwest for more than 150 years. Whereas Juneteenth Independence Day began as a holiday in the state of Texas, it is now celebrated in 46 states and the District of Columbia as a special day of observance in recognition of the emancipation of all slaves in the United States. And whereas Juneteenth Independence Day celebrations have been held to honor African Americans' freedom while encouraging self-development and respect for all cultures. And whereas the faith and strength of character demonstrated by former slaves and the descendants of former slaves remains an example for all people of the United States, regardless of background, religion, or race. And whereas slavery was not officially abolished until the ratification of the 13th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States in December 1865, and whereas over the course of its history, the United States has grown into a symbol of democracy and freedom around the world. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of LaPorte County that the board recognizes the historical significance of Juneteenth Independence Day in the United States, and two, we support the continued nationwide celebration of Juneteenth Independence Day to provide an opportunity for the people of our nation, and we learn more about the past and to better understand the experiences that have shaped the United States, and we recognize that the observance of the end of slavery is an important part of history and heritage of the United States. All of this, which is resolved this 15th day of June 2022 by the Board of Commissioners, LaPorte County, Indiana. I would like a motion to accept that.
You want to move that up from new business to
Yeah,
now?
I do. That's why I just read it.
Sure. I'll move to adopt the resolution as presented.
I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And now, you notice that when I read that resolution recognizing Juneteenth, I did not mention anything about days off. Monday is still a work day at the county. The holidays of the county are established at the beginning of the year and read into the record at that time. This will be on the agenda for budget hearings and also on consideration for our agenda for 2023. So for as of now, people who've been calling our office to see if they're off Monday, you're not. Moving right along, our next on our agenda would be public comment. Anyone from the public who would like to speak, step forward.
Good evening, commissioners. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening.
Perfect. I have drafted a statement, if it pleases the commission, if I can read it in its entirety.
Sure.
So this is General Order Number 3. The people are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them become that between employer and hired labor. The freed are advised to remain at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts, and they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere. That's Order Number 3. On June 19, 1865, General Gordon Granger arrived in Galveston, Texas, to deliver a message via General Order Number 3 to say all slaves are free, and to tell of the Emancipation Proclamation that was signed into law January 1, 1863, and didn't reach Texas until 2.5 years later, which you read. You all moved very, very fast. June 19, 1865. In 1980, Texas was the first state to declare it a holiday, with now 47 states recognizing it, and Indiana being the 34th state. LaPorte County has 112,390 people in it, according to the latest U.S. Census, out of which 11.6% of that number is African American. That is 12,263. Out of that number, most of those populations are crammed into what we call the projects. That is due to the control and stronghold on African Americans by the Democratic plantation. That is a conversation for a different day. We have no representation on the county council, and we have none on the commission. I reached out to one of the commissioners and asked a question: is the county closed for Juneteenth? And the reply was this: technically yes, as the 19th is a Sunday. County offices are open that Friday and Monday, though. The commissioner also said, I don't believe the county has officially taken any steps to recognize Juneteenth. Here today you have. The bottom line is this: last year, the 4th of July was on a Sunday and was recognized on a Monday, and the county was closed. I know this because I worked for the county at that time. July 4th is Independence Day, and the signing of the Declaration of Independence, August 2nd, 1776. Yet freedom and independence didn't come for African Americans until 89 years later. Think about that. And now we have a day to celebrate that remembrance of freedom, and we still must take steps to have that freedom recognized, I strongly urge the decision makers of this county to do the right thing and consider us and do right by us, do right by all, whatever happened, to liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Rodney McCormick, 617 Union Street. I guess this is, you said you just passed a resolution or put something up on the record. Coming from you, Mr. Mazinski, that's horrible.
Really?
Yeah, coming from you was horrible. And then you made sure you had to add at the end, you county workers need to show up to work for a federal holiday, on a federal holiday. Doesn't surprise me. We've been stomaching a lot of nonsense in this county for quite a while now when it comes to the treatments, the social ills in our black community and the poor community as well. We have a county attorney who likes to write emails, generate emails, and speak about how much he loves the black community, how much his father did for the black community by opening up a department store where his father gave credit to people and added extra yeast to it when it was time to pay those bills back. At this junction of all of this, I'm sick and tired of this. There's a lot of nonsense going on, back and forth, rhetoric, nonsense. We are not respected at all in this county right now. As you can see, there's nobody here, none of the ministers that Mr. Freeman continually brag about that don't like Rodney McCormick, or no one from the NAACP, because they didn't get an email from Shaw Freeman. They didn't get permission. It's shameful that you just now want to say something about Juneteenth. Been waiting for 2 years. You could have done this last year. Could have done this when it first started. I already know what you are, and you ain't gonna never change your ways. But I'm upset with the Democratic Party of LaPorte County. The Democratic Party's been in control for quite a while, Freeman. You've been right along with them, pushing them into garbage, pushing them right into the ditch with your hateful ways. At some point, you need to show some respect for what we've been through as blacks. Just a little bit. I try not to come to any more of these meetings because I formulated my own opinion, and that opinion is simple. Come November, every chance I get to vote, I'm gonna make sure I keep pushing Connie Grammarosa's name, boom, 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 boom. As many times that slam that gavel, I'm gonna keep pushing. Do everything in my power to make sure she don't get reelected. Sheila and Shaw Freeman needs to go. This county needs to start respecting us, or we gonna take it. Thank you.
Just to correct you, sir.
You don't have to correct me.
Yeah, so you said that it's a national holiday on Monday. It's not a county holiday.
Just save your trouble. Don't say nothing.
It's not a county holiday. That's why it's not gonna be off.
Where is that? That tough talk? I'm not one of those other people that you invite out to the parking lot.
You know,
All that tough talk you talking about ain't nothing, man. Go have a
yes.
drink on me.
You know something? I spent 18 months fighting for my country, and I fought beside Australians, Koreans, South Vietnamese, and Americans, white and black, who were my brothers, fought for your freedom. What did you do? What did you do?
I know how you talk about people.
Yeah.
So it don't.
No, you don't. You don't know nothing.
Going back,
You know nothing about
we
me.
keep going back and forth. I know enough about you. Yeah, do that down in Florida.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Bet you won't win the next election.
Brett Kelly Sr., Michigan City, Indiana. I'm here. As you can see, I'm African American. And again, I think this is scurrilous. And I think that it's scurrilous because it seems like Texas, now it took them 2 years to get the word, it took us 1 year to get the word. Now, last I checked, if you own property in this county, you pay taxes. I pay my fair share. Whole bunch of black folk pay their fair share. With the statistics that Mr. Patrick ran off, it behooves me that nobody at the beginning of this budget year considered Juneteenth. That behooves me. Now, I'm going to ask a request. Mr. Friedman, can there be an executive order per this body?
The difficulty is the lateness. I mean, ordinarily, Mr. Kelly, as they indicated, as Commissioner Brzezinski indicated, the schedule of paid holidays is set at the beginning of the year. Certainly, as Commissioner Brzezinski said, it can be tied in and respectfully requested of the council this year, and the commission may do that. So hopefully, that could be considered for the 2023 year.
Okay, well, what about the African Americans who work at the county? Because we don't get much representation on the county level as it is as far as employment. There has to be something that can be done, because I mean, I'm hot as fish grease that this would be overlooked.
I want you to know, in defense of what the commissioners have emphasized to the HR department, the need for diversity in hiring. We've got an outstanding interim HR director, Monique Thomas, who is acutely aware of the need to diversify our hiring base and increase the number of hires, both blacks and Hispanics and the disabled. And so I would say to you that I believe the HR department is making a good faith effort, but you raise concerns that are legitimate and that the commissioners have even discussed with the HR department in terms of diversifying hires.
Well, you know, and I'm not gonna take a whole bunch of time, but how long? I mean, I'm going Dr. King, how long? How long will this continue to go on? 11%? 11%? And we're still grossly underrepresented? But again, and I mimic what Mr. McCormick said. And I'm talking to two Republicans, I don't mean any disrespect to you guys. But I'll be doggone if the Democrats don't remember us every 4 years.
I would say this.
Every 4 years, we remember.
I know. I would say this to you. There is a bipartisan effort by the commission to increase the diversity of hires. That's the instruction of my office. That's why, for instance, there was an effort made with the building trades, as you recall, to try to increase the diversity of hires there, particularly on county construction projects. So I would appreciate that, but candidly, it's a bipartisan effort. Can folks do better? Absolutely. And my office, as county attorneys, has encouraged departments to increase the diversity of their hires.
Well, when are we going to actually get to tighten the screw? Because, see, wait, I'm hearing, wait, be patient. Wait always means never to black folk.
I know.
We're tired, Mr. Friedman.
I understand that, and I would say to you again that the HR department under Monique Thomas, the interim director, an African American who's doing an exceptional job with that department, is making a concrete effort to diversify hires. I mean, and I'd be happy to communicate with you after the meeting or other meetings to communicate what's going on.
Is her decision make this a holiday?
Thank you.
Is her decision?
Thank you very much.
Sure, thank you.
Does anyone else have public comment at this time? Anybody else for public comment?
Good evening. Randy Beach, 4177 West Schultz Road. Once again, we find that the company that has been in operation behind my house for 7 years is wanting to move more sand. Apparently, the word sand mining is upsetting to them and his new attorney. The industrial process that they have done in the past should have never been allowed to operate. We have all read the letter from the property owner's attorney that interprets the MS4 IDEM paperwork and his understanding of the process. We have also read where he carves out section 20.03 of the LaPorte County Zoning Code. What about all the other sections of the code that he and many others have ignored while letting this business operate in a residential area? The attorney continues to bring up my name and talks of me mentioning unfounded fears of sand mining in the February 16, 2022 minutes that he brought up in his own letter. There were 8 people plus myself that brought up sand mining. What he did not bring up was the fact that in 2015, it was county workers that told me the property owner's intention was to operate a sand mine from the 400 West location. I have mentioned this many times in here and in many email correspondence. He continued in his letter talking again about the ties between MS4, IDEM, and the new permitting process. He brings up to make his client sound compliant. Well, it's not. You can tell because he's closed. He misses any conversation about IDEM being reliant on local MS4 representatives being truthful and honest. He misses that the paperwork he references being accepted by then head MS4, Rick Brown, is being erroneous. He misses that Anthony Hendricks signed off on the paperwork that should have had calculations to prevent my property from flooding with 6 feet of water, which has still never been addressed. He misses the fact that my home and others were missed on the reports prepared by Hendricks and signed for by Brown. In fact, they ignored him. Mr. Friedman then responds to the new attorney hired by D&M and enlightens him on the inner workings of MS4 and IDEM at the local level of LaPorte County. I find it enlightening that D&M needs to hire a legal firm from outside the county to get them the right to sell sand from a residential neighborhood for more years than the county has already allowed him to do. It must be extremely profitable business operation. Once again, I'd like to thank Ms. Mateus for being the only sitting commissioner willing to stand up for the citizens in my neighborhood and putting a stop work order in as the primary MS4 operator. I would think all three of you would fight for the citizens' rights and code compliance. Mr. Brzezinski, you should have put the same stop work order in when you were listed as the primary operator and not let this fester into what it is today. The business should have been stopped years ago by multiple employees working for LaPorte County. Not only did the business receive under-the-table help to operate, but also others closed their eyes to help the property's operations. Thank you very much for your time. Can I get any responses? Everybody else is getting responses here today.
Nice to see you back. We missed you the last couple of meetings.
Nice to have you back in LaPorte.
Hey, you know,
We missed
it's always exciting.
Back up with you?
It's always exciting to hear from the radical right.
What radical information did I just
Are you
give?
done? Next.
No, you said I was.
We're not a question and answer period. You stated your,
made the statement.
you stated your complaints that you make every meeting. We've heard them.
How is that
Thank you.
radical right?
Thank you for your.
How is this radical?
Thank you for
Mr.
paying
Hicks, let me
attention to
at
what's
least
going on.
explain.
Thank you.
All of the commissioners have supported the stop work order, okay? I understand it was.
Not here, not in public. We just seen it.
I would tell you this, that Commissioner Matias signed that as the MS4
Yes.
permit operator, but I have had absolutely no pushback or resistance from the other commissioners. They have been supportive of that, and that stop work order continues in force today. And you've seen the commitment by the county to ensure that it continues to be enforced. So I think that will continue to be the case. And I appreciate you raising, as you saw, we responded to the attorney for
Yes.
D&M, and we will continue to do so.
And why don't we respond with what I bring up constantly as a right-wing authority, I guess I am now. I'll be loving to say that here in a couple more weeks. Why don't we bring up about the paperwork that was erroneous? It was erroneous paperwork. You know it, you've seen it, you know it, you've seen it, you know it,
You've seen
it. It is ignored.
I know. You've seen the defenses we've raised. Those are the defenses that I think we can make in court if need be, and so I would leave it at that, okay? But we will continue to keep you and the other neighbors informed of the commission's efforts.
Anyone else for public comment?
Thank you.
Speech. Anyone else for public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Department head comments or reports? Any department head? There's Jeremy.
Good evening, Jeremy Sebecki from the Parks Department. I just wanted to update you on our hiring woes. We're still hurting for seasonal employees. So if you know anybody, and these are people that do a little bit of everything: mowing, cleaning restrooms, picking up trash, prepping the shelters and buildings for rentals. You know, they have to be kind of self-motivated. We don't have people that are standing over them all day. But if anybody knows anybody that's can just have them give us a call. And we're still too short, and we're going to be losing some more in August when they go back to school. So yeah, it's going to be rough.
You know, on the morning news on the local station here, they have job postings for several different companies announced, you know, that they have openings and what they pay and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I've suggested this to HR department, that when you have an opening that you can't seem to fill, which you've got plenty of those,
Yeah.
it might be something to do.
Okay.
To let them know, to get on that.
I can try to get a hold of them and find out.
Yeah, because they announce all the different companies right now that are looking, and you know, that have been looking for a long time. Like OTEC has been on it for a long time.
Yeah.
Monticello, yeah. So
All right, thank you.
good luck with that.
Mr. Specky, before you go off, we were speaking the other day during one of the meetings, Parks and Rec meetings, and you brought up some of the issues with staffing and whatnot, which obviously we just talked about, but would would it help you if if we authorized you to go to the council requesting a change from one of the part-time positions to a full-time position?
Yeah, I think we could fill that. I mean, I really do. As it is right now, as you know, we have 3 full-time maintenance positions, and that is with all the additions and, you know, extra buildings we put up, shelters and rental facilities and stuff like that. It's just, you know, it's not enough to keep up with what we have, and especially when we can't hire seasonal employees. And, you know, we build a lot of our buildings in-house, and we've done that for years. And you know, I'm starting to look at some grants that I have in playgrounds and stuff that now I'm not offering. We can't do any of the work, you know, so it's going to cost us more, and some of those things are you know, out of town people that put in playgrounds. We don't have local people putting in playgrounds because it's a very specialized thing. But yeah, I mean, I think if we had a better paying job with benefits year round, that's what we get when we post these seasonal jobs. People say, well, you're not going to get anybody for that because doesn't pay well and it's seasonal, you know. So I do think we could fill that position, and it would help us a ton.
Excellent, yeah, and I think as we discussed the other day, the addition of all the extra facilities as well as the improvements out at Bloom, you know, just trying to maintain and keep clean and safe, the additional, you know, all access playground that was there, plus the bathrooms, that takes a significant amount of man hours to keep that
right.
Keep that
and
going.
the thing we were talking about as well is that we've had those 3 full-time employees since like the 90s, and our parks have, you know, grown in facilities and things, so it's getting really tough. I think it's time we start that conversation for sure.
Well, I would make a motion to allow you to approach the council to convert one of your part-time positions to a full-time position.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, good luck with that.
Thank you, good luck.
It is amazing, as big as all the parks that we have, they only have 3 full-time employees. Did you know we only have 1 full-time employee that runs the whole museum?
Right.
It's time that the council's gonna have to start thinking about these things.
I appreciate your support, and
All right, so, you know, we'll go to bat for you, buddy. You do a good job.
thanks.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm sorry, was there anybody on Zoom? No? Okay, any other department heads? I know, let me be brief, you always say that.
Good evening, Commissioners. It's Tony Rodriguez, Director of Community and Economic Development. Just hitting on a couple of key timely high points. On the 27th of June, we'll be before the council presenting our second half budget allocation appropriation with a brief semi-annual report highlighting some of what's gone on in this first 6 months. As we know, we've been dealing with the news from of the corporate leadership of Corsicana, which was acquired by a new private equity firm, and their unfortunate decision. However, I just wanted to inform the commissioners and the listening public that as a result of very close communication and an immediate response on behalf of both the council and commissioners, that line of communication with the CEO of Corsicana and the building owner, the owner of the real estate, it's going to allow us to quickly get that facility either sold or released. I've highlighted on numerous occasions and in a press release, we are right now actively working with 5 existing manufacturing firms that have expressed immediate interest in that space, and I would applaud our existing manufacturing base here in LaPorte County that have stepped up to the plate, actually seeking that list of names of those to be displaced. So what we're seeing is an outpouring of support to put those people back immediately into productive, if not even slightly more, a higher wage rate and equal area of employment. So we're very pleased with that, and I thought it'd be important to bring it to your attention. So that two nights ago, the CEO called me reassuring me that they stand ready and they will be appointing a direct point of contact so that we can get prospective interested parties into the facility and then facilitate that smooth communication that will eliminate any need for further delays in getting that now highly valuable space released and once again productive. And we want to see that go into manufacturing type use. I wanted to applaud all of LaPorte County super users who attended a meeting on June 8th, regrouping this body, which is responsible for timely updates and all of the activities of posting of meeting agendas, meeting minutes. It is a never-ending task, and while we have several vacancies currently, I am very pleased with how the group is taking an active role in filling the vacancies and recommitting to the standard operating procedures. So through this collaboration, we believe that we're going to be able to increase the transparency and eliminate some of the double booking that's gone on in some of the meeting rooms, and just very pleased with the work that's gone on within the super user group. So I thank you to all of those that participate. And lastly, the Redevelopment Commission has truly been working overtime with the number of projects that it has currently on its agenda. I just wanted to highlight Kingsbury Industrial Park and the number of transformational type leads that we're entertaining with the Indiana Economic Development Corporation continues to not only increase, but the level of interest and participation by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, Matt Reardon, the Redevelopment Commission, and their work on securing a grant through the READY program. And those rail improvements are truly going to be pivotal in us landing these billion-dollar capital investment, which I refer to as transformational. So I just wanted to give a quick update to the commissioners, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tony. Any other department heads?
Mr. President, can I get my report from here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Office of the Auditor has scheduled for this Friday to begin the process of settlement, which is the distribution of the monies received through tax payments. I'm pleased to report that we have collected year-to-date slightly more than we did for the same period year-to-date last year, roughly $83 million. So we are scheduled to begin or initiate that process on Friday. Usually by the next week, the units of local government, the taxing units, will receive their money. Statutorily, they need to receive that money by the end of the month, so we're on schedule. My estimate is that because of the tax billing issues, the county probably was maybe short a couple million in its collections. So hopefully there'll be no hardship to any of the units. If they need an early draw in December because of some type of hardship for those that play it very close on their budgets, they can request them. We did have a couple of units of local government request, some of the school corporations request an early payment, which we issued on their draw. But that's where that is at. And the issue of reissuing the tax bills is still being discussed between the financial function and the council and the powers that be here in the county. And hopefully there'll be an announcement regarding that coming up. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other department heads? Any other department heads? Seeing none, department heads are done. Jump right into requests. Consider permission to pay 44.5 unused sick days for Vicki Schlage, who is retiring. Tim Stables, auditor.
Miss Vicki Schlage's last day is Friday, and she's provided 25 years of outstanding service to LaPorte County as the chief claims clerk in my department. So
I'd entertain a motion.
I'd move to pay the unused sick days for Vicki Schlage and thank her for her service.
I'd second the motion. You do have the money, right?
yes.
Okay. I'd second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Consider permission to pay 60 unused sick days to Desiree Nichols, who is retiring. Tom Alaviso, Circuit Court Judge. We know that this is accurate and has been earned. I would entertain a motion.
I would move to pay the 60 unused sick days to Desiree Nichols for her retirement and thank her for her service.
second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Consider permission to travel to Nashville, Tennessee for NADCP annual training, July 25th to 28th. Steve Irick, adult probation. I talked to Steve. This is their training that they have to do. They have the money. I would entertain a motion.
Would move to grant permission for travel to Nashville for the NADCP annual training for adult probation.
I will second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Next, consider permission to close Ziegler Road during Fair Week, the July 9th to the 16th for the Fair Board. We do this every year.
Yep, every year.
Every year.
Move to close Ziegler Road between July 9 and July 16th.
Second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Consider permission to approach the council for additional appropriations to fill propane tanks not to exceed $5,000. Jeremy Sebecki, Parks Director. I think we know what you need.
Yeah, not that I need propane right now, but.
I'm glad you waited till it got real expensive.
Right, well, the tanks are low and it's cheaper in the summer, so my hope was to get them filled now and.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. Takes us to old business. Consider second and final reading for ordinance amending zoning map to rezone property owned by Meadow Creek Development LLC from B2 to R1A. Kevin Warren, attorney for petitioners.
Good evening. Thank you, Commissioners. Yeah, we are here to request motion or second reading of the ordinance. And then in addition, at the same Plan Commission meeting on May 24th, there was approval of the minor subdivision plat. So we were also hoping to get a motion to approve the minor subdivision plat this evening as well, if that would be agreeable.
Yeah, we meant to hear those together.
I believe we need a motion first for the
second reading.
Yeah, on the second reading. So I would move for to approve on the second reading.
Yeah, we had a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission. I'll second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and then your second part.
Yes, is a motion to approve the minor subdivision plat.
Minor subdivision, right, and that was also unanimously approved.
Recommended.
Yeah. Entertain a motion on that.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much, sir. Good work.
Thank you.
We'll leave the plat here for commissioners to sign and pick it up.
Hey.
Okay. Leave me an ink pen too.
Yes.
Next, under more business, consider memorandum of understanding for Mid-America Health regarding dental services at the jail. John Boyd, Sheriff, Alot, Jail Commander. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. We're here to ask for your approval after you consider this memorandum of understanding with Mid-America Health for dental services in our jail. Our longtime jail dentist of at least 30 years is retiring, and it's very difficult to find a dentist or a company that's willing to provide services in the correctional field. We did find one that is Indiana-based, and we recommend that you approve this memorandum of understanding. It is already within our budget, so we'll not need to ask for an additional appropriation from the council.
Council, look this over.
Yes, I have had an opportunity to look at the MOU and we're comfortable recommending it to you.
I would entertain a motion in that case.
So moved.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consider Tech 84 service agreement. Rochelle Brown, Community Corrections Director. Is she on Zoom?
Yes, I am here. Good evening. I'm here requesting to approach the council for funding for the new service agreement for the Tech 84. When we had it installed a little over a year ago, it came with a service agreement, and now the service agreement is scheduled to end July 21st. And this new service agreement is $8,500. This would include labor, parts of service, any system reviews, any maintenance checks. Otherwise, we would have to pay $1,400 every time they come out, along with a $175 hourly fee for any labor that is administered to fix whatever issue that we may have. So again, I'm here requesting permission to approach the council for the fundings for the new service agreement.
Members of the commission, we've had a chance to look at the agreement. It appears the advisory board has also recommended approval, and specifically the recommendation of option 1, the specifically defined service agreement over this open-ended time and materials agreement. So we'd recommend you going with option 1 as well.
Yeah, make sure that's part of the motion. After looking that over, option 1, it has to be, not option 2.
I would move to approve option 1 of the Tech 84 service agreement.
And I will second your motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Consider renewal of service agreement. Wait a minute. Consider renewal of contract with Nyhard, Tim Stabos, auditor.
So as part of our financial reporting requirements that began a few years ago, Nyhard does the specialized work of accounting, making sure our accounting disclosures are correct. It's complicated regarding other post-employment benefits other than pensions. This is a proposed renewal of a contract. We've used Neidhart. I note the increase is about only 3%, which is pretty good in the context of the underlying inflation rate. So my request is that you approve the contract.
Mr. President, members of the commission, we've had an opportunity to review the contract. Nyhart has done good work for the county, and as the auditor indicates, it's a very specialized form of consulting they do, and we're recommending approval.
I would move to approve the renewal for the Nyhart contract.
Second your motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. And then we had 11D. I don't.
This would be 11E. This is the certification of the Plan Commission findings for the PUD out at Love's Travel Stop and county stores.
Right, this
country stores.
Did receive a favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission. This would be our first reading.
Does this require a first and a second, or?
I would.
President, I think there's a representative of Love's on the line.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. I'm Frank Ely with Love's, and I've got Matt Fink here with CESO, our civil engineering firm, if anybody has any questions for us.
No, this was approved by the Plan Commission, favorable recommendation. Therefore, I would entertain a motion to accept their recommendation.
Mr. Friedman, do we need 2 readings on this or just 1? Is this because this is phrased just a little bit differently than most of the stuff that come across. I'm trying to remember the last time we did PUD quite like this.
Yeah, I believe it's the PUD is a resolution. I believe we're looking at this point. I don't believe it's in ordinance form. So we would, to my knowledge, on the PUD have 1 reading.
Okay, then I would move to approve the PUD based on the favorable recommendation from the Plan Commission.
I would second the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you very much. And then there was.
And just to note, we'll determine from Attorney Beachy if it was in ordinance form. My recollection was the PUD was authorized in a resolution, which would mean you'd only need your 1 reading. So,
thank you. And then we had an 11E.
We handled D at the beginning, and then that was E. So
cool. Cool. We've run out of 11s, so we're down to commissioner comments.
Thank you. It's been a quite productive and busy past 2 weeks here. Numerous community meetings from up in Michigan City all the way down to Union Mills and La Crosse. Union Mills, we had a large, fantastic turnout, about 40 residents for a IDEM meeting about some issues that are going down in Prairie Township. I was really pleased to see everybody turn out for that. Hopefully everybody did make all those email concerns downstate to IDEM, and we're still working on that to determine some of the best routes forward on that project down there. I spoke earlier briefly with our parks director here, and we had a large meeting. We had a meeting and then a public meeting as well for Parks and Rec, and then a public meeting as well for public input for the direction that folks would like, the county residents would like to see our parks head in the future. Every 5 years they do updates and kind of a master plan, kind of broad picture of how we want to update our parks and move forward with those. It was a great meeting. Unfortunately, very few people from the public did show up to it, but we did find out that there were significantly more, almost twice as many online comments that were submitted via a survey, monkey survey. So they're planning on doing another such survey. So please keep your eye out for that, and please give us your thoughts and opinions on what directions you'd like county parks to head. Also, talked quite a bit about trying to secure some land for a park in the southern part of the county. Between Bloom and Lure Park, there's nothing south of there. So basically, pretty much the entire south half of the county is without a park. So we're hoping to get some property down there and be able to start work down there at some point. Even if it's just something minor, securing the land is just like any of these things. It's securing the land that can be the toughest part, finding the right piece of property, and preferably with someone who's community minded, that doesn't mind parting with some land down there. So we're hopeful that that's going to move forward, and shout out to the South County Community Coalition for helping us work with that as well. This past week there were also other events such as the 22nd annual brick dedication at our Veterans Walkway of Honor here in LaPorte at Soldier Memorial. And this coming summer, these next several weeks are packed with events. So if you're here in LaPorte County and you want to do something, there is plenty to do coming up, from numerous events, both from Michigan City down to La Crosse, everywhere in between, parades, fireworks, as well as the 176th annual LaPorte County Fair is coming up in a few weeks. Also, this Saturday at the fairgrounds, we have our household waste drop-off. So it's not the 7-in-1, but it is a household waste drop-off. You can visit the LaPorte County Solid Waste District website for more information on what they'll take. Generally, just general household things, light bulbs, medication, stuff like that. So one thing that I did want to touch on that's kind of been in the public purview here this past week or two is in relation to fire protection here in the county. We have amazing volunteer fire departments all across this county. For those who don't know, volunteer fire department service, not just here in LaPorte, but nationwide, volunteer fire department service just over about 70% of this nation. Volunteer firefighters make up just over about 70% of the total amount of firefighters in the entire nation as well. These are people who dedicate their time, their money, their resources, their sweat, and even their blood into protecting and defending our communities, for various things, be it from accidents to house fires, brush fires, and everything in between, assisting with medical emergencies. So when I heard a local official trying to tell people that they weren't safe in a certain area of the county, that it doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. It's impugning the integrity and the dedication of our volunteers, not just here in that one particular area, but in the entire county, the state, and the nation. The reasons that I heard for people not being quote unquote safe are absolutely preposterous. If that's the case, then there's nowhere in LaPorte County, unincorporated LaPorte County, that's safe. There's nowhere in unincorporated Indiana that's safe, and there's nowhere in unincorporated United States of America that's safe. It's a preposterous notion, and I want people to rest assured that myself personally, I have full faith and confidence in all of our volunteer firefighters in this county, and that's that same confidence I have in our paid departments as well. So I hope those sorts of scare tactics end, because it's not right. And the residents of unincorporated LaPorte County need to know that these departments have been out there protecting them, and they're going to continue to through anything that happens. So hopefully that can finally put that to rest. Briefly, I would like to mention, earlier there was some comments made. I really think it's important that we be civil with the public when we're dealing with them. Be it there was one individual who came up, and I don't know this individual's politics, right or left or anywhere in between. I'm not familiar with that, but I know that I can't imagine there's anything political or quote unquote radical right about dealing with trucks or sand in your neighborhood. To me, that's not a partisan issue whatsoever. And I was along with some of the other comments made here tonight, it's not how this commission should be presenting itself to the public. People come to speak and voice their concerns, and it's not right for any of them to be trivialized or set aside in such a manner. It's just, it's not appropriate. I'd like to close this evening with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. And he said, "Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed." Thank you.
Well, since last meeting, double track continues to move forward. In fact, we will have a ribbon cutting on Monday for the double track. It will be a major game changer for not only Michigan City, but for all of northern Indiana. Highly supported by many organizations all the way down to Indianapolis. I'm happy to see that we are moving forward with the Love's Travel Plaza. Talk about some people who have been very patient. Been a lot of moving parts on this. We've been through a lot, but we're making forward. We have the sewer and water going in up there. We'll be doing groundbreaking on that and the subsequent buildings beside them very soon. I had a meeting today with the folks from concerning the Meadowview and Nowak subdivisions, and it was a good meeting. We met with the contractor. We also had our county engineer and our county planner, and also Randy from the council and myself, and we came to a pretty good understanding. We found out what was wrong with our procedure. We're on the right foot. We expressed them that is the county's wishes that we move this thing forward now. So I look forward to seeing progress on that water issue there in the Meadowview Nowak subdivision. We do have another meeting coming up about the Michigan City Drawbridge. I think we're going to finally come up with a workable solution for that big money pit that we have. The project at I-94 and 20, we've had a couple meetings about that. In fact, as late as just today. And it's a very important meeting on that next Tuesday, depending on what happens there. If everything goes like it should, we will be moving forward with that project. Very exciting project, probably one of the best I've seen. We did have a meeting about code enforcement, trying to move that forward. I had some calls today about our Jake brake ordinance. People calling me in and saying, you need to consider this section of highway. They come through here and rattle our windows. So I encourage anybody, if you have that kind of issue with Jake brakes, let us know so we make sure we get the signs posted for that. The EMS base in Rolling Prairie that I've worked with for 15 years is coming up, is underway. If you happen to drive by that way and check it out, you'll see good progress. And another project that was very important to me, when the hospital built their new hospital, they took a building that they had occupied as a doctor's office over on Sagamore Parkway. They moved it over by the hospital. That facility is now vacant. We toured that with members from the VA, also from the VFW, American Legion, all of our veterans organizations, and we have had a letter drafted and sent to the Veterans Administration this past week, asking that we can utilize that as a VA facility. Right now, every veteran in LaPorte County, you're going to have to go to Chicago, or you're going to have to go to Crown Point, or you're going to have to go to Mishawaka. We're in the donut hole. It's a long way to everywhere. And if we can get a clinic here in town to handle things that can be handled here, your annual checkup, your blood draw, stuff like that, that's what we want to do. And we've got support from Senator Young and also from Congresswoman Walorski. The people that I'm dealing with here, they're very passionate about this. I got a good feeling that this just might happen. And this is something we've worked on for years. When you have to get your annual checkup and you got to go to either Crown Point or Mishawaka to get a blood draw and come home, and then a week later go back to meet your doctor or a practitioner. It's a lot of wasted time, and this will be so much better if we can do that sort of thing right here in town. Also, as was mentioned, LaPorte County Fair, if you haven't been out there, you need to check it out. I'll tell you what, the FEMC and the Fair Board, the new fences, the roadways, it's looking really awesome. 176th year of the fair. There's some really cool stuff going on out there. So get out and check it out. And a little advance notice, August 27th is the annual Fox Park Music Fest, put on by the Guardian Writers, support for veterans. That's all I have. We're adjourned.